look at a few games. We always look at the Thursday night game. And it's not a bad one at Full Stadium. Rabbitohs Panthers. Statman, can you point us in a direction?
I can, and it's all one way. Panthers have won 4 of the last 5 and 8 of the last 10 against the Bunnies. The average winning margin by either team in the last 10 games is 10 points. And that includes a 44-point win by the Panthers. So if we remove that outlier, the average winning margin in the other 9 games is only 6. So quite tight. 7 of the last 10 games have been decided by a single-digit margin. The under in total points has hit 7 of the last 10 between these two. The Panthers have averaged 22.5 points in the last 10 against the Bunnies. Bunnies have only averaged 14.5. And the average total in the last 10 is 37.2. The last 9 is last 5 is 39. And the total this week is set at 41.5.
Surely, it's a grand final rematch. Who do you like?
Yeah, it's not often the Panthers lose 2 in a row, but I think this week they will. The Bunnies, they get back Campbell Graham and Ilias, and I thought they played outstanding last week. Normally, I'd tip Penrith just based on their forward pack, but I think the Bunnies forward pack's been outstanding. Guys like Totola, Cam Murray, Jai Arrow, they've been at the top of their game recently. Fisher Harris, he's still out. So Penrith's still missing a couple. Again, like that Bunnies side, they're probably the one team you don't want to play at the moment. So I think they'll be too good, and I think it could possibly be a 13+ if they get on a roll.
Blake, there was sort of rumours out of training that Latrell may have tweaked something. Have you heard anything more?
No, he did come out and say, I think in his quote, he said, just put in the Ferrari in the garage, and he comes out on weekends. So, man, I love to see that. And what about his warning after the game last week? He said, we're coming, look over your shoulder. Like, I love that stuff when players back themselves like that. Like, I remember this game clearly. I think it was round 5 or 6 when they had the rematch, and I tipped the Rabbits that game, and it was real close. It was 12-6 at halftime, and Penrith ended up running away with it. But this is a completely different Penrith team, and this is a completely different Latrell Mitchell, who's turned into superhuman since he's come back. Now, I'm along the same lines as Surly. I think this could turn ugly for Penrith if the Rabbits are in a mood. Either way, I think the Rabbits win, but I think it could turn ugly.
Cal, your stats say Penrith, but with the way the teams are shaping up, surely going to side with the boys. And
Yeah. I was going to say it after the stats, but you threw it Surly too fast. I was going to say, despite what the stats say, I actually think the Rabbitohs can win this. And they,
sword fight.
We've only been doing it for a couple of years. You thought I don't know what. Move on. Bunnies.
Should we head on to the Cowboys Warriors?
Who do you think's going to win?
I'm on the Bunnies as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Cowboys Warriors. Stat man, tell us why we should have a little stab on the Warriors.
Since 1998, these two teams have met 40 times. And they've won 20 each. 20 each. With that said, the Warriors have won 5 of the last 7. The last 10 have been split 5 apiece. The Warriors' average winning margin in their 5 wins is 6.6. The Cowboys' average winning margin in their 5 wins is 16.5. The average winning margin by either side in the last 6 games is 5 points. 12 points has been the biggest winning margin by either team in the last 8. Average total in the last 10 between these two is 45.5. In the last 5, it's 48. This week, it's 51.5. The over has hit in 3 of the last 5, the under in 6 of the last 10. And finally, the Warriors have averaged 24.8 points in their last 5 games against the Cowboys. The Cowboys 23.2.
That's nice.
Warriors win.
You didn't have to come up with any silly stats that time. All lined up really nicely. Surly, you'll be You can't
Yeah,
turn
look, I
away
like that.
Warriors plus 19.5, surely.
Yeah, a bit of disrespect there from the bookies, and I like how the stats went back to 1998. That's a huge plus for me. But yeah, look, Friday night footy, the boys are going to put on a show. I think it's probably one of the first times this year we've been able to roll out the same 17 in back-to-back weeks, so that's a real positive. Interesting again to see Curran on the bench. I know his energy is unreal, but I think he brings that for the full 80 when he gets a chance as well. So I'd still like to see him in that locking role, but apart from that, love the team, some huge battles across the park, and I think the Warriors will come out and get the result.
Blake, you also keen on the Warriors getting that big start?
No, I'm not, Paul. Oh, yeah. The sorry.
Yeah.
Plus 19.5.
Yeah.
Sword fight.
Look, the worst thing that happened to the Warriors, I think, was the Roosters absolutely smashing the Cowboys last week. So I think the Cowboys back at home, there was a bit of, motion in the game last week for the Cowboys. I think now this week's gone and they come back home. They want to get their season back on track, and what better team to do it against than the team that's beaten you this year? So, they're going to fight back. They're going to come back from that game. The memory's there. They're a different team from when the Warriors beat them. So I think the Cowboys win this, and they do it quite comfortably. Paul?
Statman?
Warriors. They won 5 of the last 7. Soon to be 6 of the last 8. Where does Harris Tavita come in?
He's 18th
Lussick,
man.
if he comes in? Surely if he's
He'll go straight
healthy,
into the
they'll
half,
come
won't
in.
he?
I don't know. RC was pretty good on Friday.
It's a weird one because they're not. Well, they've already they're not. They haven't offered RC next year. They're not offering RC next year, and Chanel's not there. So it's not like you can say, "Oh, we're going to groom someone for next year or see how they go." So I guess it's however they think they're going to win the game. Might be RC against his old club.
All right.
Who do you think?
Oh, Cowboys.
What
To
about-
win.
What about the start?
Oh, no. I love the Warriors plus the 19.5. I think that's just
We'll
a
take that.
wee bit too
that.
generous. Last game we'll look at, Broncos Storm up at Suncorp Stadium. Statman?
To the Warriors fans still listening, I think I've found a team that has a worse record against the Storm than the Warriors do. And I'm going to throw it all the way back to 98 again, Shirley. Storm have won 37 of 51 games between these two since 98. But they've won 23 of the last 27, including the last 11 straight.
That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. Imagine being a Broncos fan. The Storm's average winning margin in those 11 is 22.7. And in the last 5 is just a tick under 30. The over has hit in 5 straight and 7 of the last 8. The average number of points scored in those matches is 48 points. Total this week is 43.5. Storm have averaged 33, just a tick under 34 points in their last 11 games against the Broncos to the Broncos 11. Storm have a 78% winning record at Suncorp to the Broncos 58%.
Wow, it's almost their home ground.
There you go. Storm by 1,000.
No wonder they don't mind playing their magic round up there, the Storm.
Yeah.
Surly, you all over the Storm again after the bank opened for business last weekend?
Yeah, I was just going to say maybe the Suncorp factor would be the only thing that would give the Broncos some fizz, but off the back of that from Statman, you can't even throw that in the equation. I think it was interesting to see that Johns has been dropped for this week. I thought they might have kept him in the mix and started Munster in the one, but yeah, a bit harsh for him there. I think maybe Munster will still play in that one jersey, and if they do, then the scoreline could get a bit bigger, but yeah, I'll be backing the Storm probably in that 1 to 12 range with how they line up at the moment. But if Munster plays at fullback, then 13 plus.
Yeah, I'm.
Well, Blake.
Yeah, I'm on the Storm, mate. I think the Broncos put up a fight like they did down in Melbourne. I think they make it close, but I think the Storm are with Jerome Hughes back. But I'm like Surly. It's very weird because everyone's talking about Munster at fullback and how good he is playing. I would have thought they'd keep Cooper John's there as well. So interesting to see if he does start. I just seen Cooper John's not even on the extended bench. So there's no chance unless they put Cody Nikorima in again. And that was a bit of a disaster for Jaden. It was a bit of a disaster that first time down at Manly. So I think the Storm win, but a close one.
Statman?
Storm 13 plus for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm on the Storm too.
Do we have a clip from you a couple of weeks ago saying you will never back the Storm again this year?
No, I said I'd never be going to the bank of the Storm.
Okay.
But for the purposes of this podcast, I will be back in the Storm this week against the Broncos.
Thank you for clarification.
Yep.